England's water industry is once again asking for patience. Once again, it does not deserve it. In 2025, raw sewage was discharged into England's rivers, lakes and seas 291,492 times, more than once every 2 minutes. That is not a system under pressure, that is a system operating exactly as designed, to dump waste when it is cheaper than fixing the infrastructure. Yes, the headline figures show improvement. Spills were down 35% on 2024, and total discharge hours nearly halved. But this is not evidence of success, it is evidence of weather. The Environment Agency itself acknowledges the primary driver was a significantly drier year. Less rain means less strain on a broken system. It does not mean the system has been fixed. Strip away the spin, and the reality is stark. Campaign data indicates over 187,000 hours of sewage dumping occurred on so-called dry days. Conditions under which storm overflows should not be operating at all. That is not misfortune, that is mismanagement, or worse, calculated non-compliance. The industry, represented by Water UK, points to increased investment and long-term plans to halve spills over 5 years. But the public has heard this before. Since privatization, water companies have paid out tens of billions in dividends, while debt has soared and infrastructure has decayed. Investment now is not a sign of generosity, it is the bare minimum after decades of extraction. Meanwhile, the human cost is immediate. The campaign group Surfers Against Sewage has already issued nearly 4,000 pollution alerts in early 2026 alone, more than double the same period last year. These are not abstract numbers. They represent contaminated beaches, unsafe waterways, and people getting sick. Government response remains cautious. Even as public anger grows, ministers speak of unacceptable levels and promise regulatory reform, inspections, and accountability. But the regulators have existed for decades, and the discharges have continued regardless. Without structural change, enforcement risks becoming little more than theatre. This is not simply an environmental issue, it is a question of economic priorities and public accountability. Essential infrastructure has been run as a financial asset, not a public service. The result has been predictable, as all can see, underinvestment and regulatory failure. Stephen Morris, General Secretary of the Workers of England, put it bluntly, working people across England are paying the price for a system that rewards failure. Our rivers are polluted, our coasts are contaminated, and yet bills keep rising. This is not just environmental negligence, it is economic injustice. The sewage scandal persists because it is allowed to persist. Fines are absorbed as operating costs, targets are missed without consequence. And every year the same cycle repeats itself. Outrage, promises, and very little change. If this is to be corrected, the approach must be fundamentally different. That means enforceable limits, real financial penalties that cannot be passed on to customers, and a serious reconsideration of how water infrastructure is owned and managed in the public interest. Until then, the industry can point to falling numbers all it likes. But when sewage is still being dumped hundreds of thousands of times a year, including in dry weather, there is only one honest conclusion: nothing has changed.